Mindfulness, really popular term in the last probably 5 years. A lot of people are confused about what it actually means. So I want to give you a definition and explain it to you. In the 1970s, there was a man named Dr. John Kabat-Zinn who created a stress reduction program after he spent a lot of time with Buddhists and learning different techniques of learning how to be aware of his surroundings and himself. He later he changed the name of the program to Mindfulness Stress Reduction Program. But it really didn't pick up really big popularity until like the last 5 years. I'm sure you've heard of it, and that's why a lot of people are questioning what's it about. So basically, it's about paying attention on purpose in the present. Okay? Paying attention to what? Just everything, like how you think, how your body's feeling, different things around you. Basically, paying attention to the present instead of thinking about the future and the past all the time, which we bounce back and forth. They say at least 50% of the time of our everyday. Worried about the future or feeling maybe negative or bad about the past. Now, I'm not talking about purposeful thinking about the future and the past. Yes, sometimes we have to think about the future and plan and make goals and schedule, and of course this is normal living. And then of course in the past you might have to think about the past to learn something or figure something out or whatever and feel something. Okay, I'm talking about involuntary thinking, past, future, on and on. This is what we do a lot, and it stresses our mind and it stresses our body, and you lose a lot of energy and enjoyment in your life with it. But we all do it. We've been taught to use our mind and to think a lot. We've never really been taught to pay attention to the things in our mind and our body. So as you start to live this way, it's mindfulness is kind of a state of being. It's not a technique, but there's techniques to help you get there. There's lots of techniques, okay? So what happens when you start to practice this way of living and become more, pay more attention to what's going on in your present and catching yourself when you think you're thinking about the future and the past more, and you start to learn to train your brain more to do this, awareness arises. You start to notice a lot of different things about how you think, how you respond to people. You feel, if you're hearing somebody talking, something happening, and how you feel, like a little change in your stomach, right? Or something maybe in your neck, or something bothered you and your body reacts. And instead of ignoring that, you start to pay attention to it and maybe learn from it. And then you start to learn how to control your thoughts and your feelings more, which you can imagine if you have that training and skill where you can control your thoughts and your feelings more, your quality of life is going to be better. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more peaceful in general. So basically, as you practice this, you just start to notice more about your environment, your thoughts, like I said, how often you do past and future, noticing and learning from your thinking patterns. That's really, really educational. Sensations in your body when you have tension sometimes. Why did it happen? Maybe a change in your energy. You just start noticing these changes. And you try to approach your everyday situation as you have different things in your life that happen or people that talk to you, to be totally open and try not to be open to the things that are happening to you, to the people that are talking to you, and try not to judge and label right away. Mindfulness is being open and accepting of what's happening in front of us and whatever we're dealing with at the moment, but not attaching an interpretation to it right away. And this is what we always do. Our thoughts will always attach interpretation, and if we start feeling a certain way from our past, because we all come to the same situation, same experience from different experiences in our past, and we all look through life in little filtered glasses. So we all experience things different ways. again, it's not a technique, it's kind of a way of being when you use different techniques. I'll give you an example of an exercise I do to help practice my mindfulness and be in the present. I walk down the street or ride my bike, or even talk to somebody or whatever. It can be anything. You can be waiting in line, you can be driving your car, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to try to be present and notice everything and just be really, really present of all the things that are happening in my body, thinking, things around me, whatever. And you will see how fast your mind leaves you. And you have no defense. You just go. And if you haven't already experienced this, try this exercise and you will see how little control you have over your mind. But that can change. This is the empowering thing about all the research that's out there. That can change. We can start to notice how we think and how it leads to changes in our body, maybe uncomfortable changes, maybe feelings that are uncomfortable. And we can learn to have a different interpretation of it and stop the thoughts. We don't have to believe and identify with every thought that comes into our head. Believe that it's true and identify, and then we react right away. Okay? Being present more lets you kind of observe yourself from looking outside a little bit. It's really interesting. You observe your thinking and maybe figure out what that was about, or just wonder about it. Maybe you don't know, but you just notice it, and then maybe you'll learn later from what it was about. But it's like pausing and then responding if you want to, if it's necessary or not, instead of just reacting. Okay? A perfect example that you can see all the time, people do this all the time, and I have to stop myself from doing it too, where you're in a conversation with somebody. And in regular conversations, I see people doing this too, but maybe it's even like a debate, or you're like, going back and forth and you're disagreeing or something, proving your point. A lot of times you'll see where people are so busy thinking about their response to the person, they're not even listening to the other person, because you can't listen to two people at one time. You're talking to yourself and you're trying to listen to this person. It's impossible. You have to get what are you thinking, put your response aside and really listen to this person. And then you can respond in a mindful manner and really listen to them and understand them instead of being focused on being understood. There's a lot of different techniques, like I said, and once you learn how to really start living this way, I promise you, your life will transform. It's absolutely incredible and very, very powerful.